if you have been following what's been happening to the American election system over the past 20 years now, then you probably had the same question as I did. Can one little memory card flip an entire election? Well, if that election happens to be in Cobb County, Georgia, then the answer is decidedly yes. Because you see, in a shocking development, after the midterm election was over and all of the winners for the local races were already called, someone happened to discover a memory card just laying around that was previously overlooked. This was a memory card from one of the tabulation machines containing vote counts which previously were not included in the official tallies, meaning that this was a memory card containing about 800 valid votes that were just never tallied. And so after they were added back in and the results of the election were recertified, well, the winner of the local city council race was actually flipped. That's because prior to this memory card fiasco, Miss Madeline Arkenna, she was originally declared to be the winner of a post on the city council within Kennesaw City, which is located in Cobb County. And as you can imagine, after being declared the winner, well, Miss Madeline was quite happy, and she was telling her followers on social media about where and when they can tune in to view her swearing-in ceremony. Here was a statement that she made to a local news outlet. Quote, "I plan to celebrate with family and friends and supporters afterwards. We had no reason to expect otherwise." However, this is where things took a turn, you can say, for the absurd. Because in an age where we have all these different technological developments, well, it appears that for some reason, our election tabulation is not quite keeping pace. That's because shortly after being declared the winner, Ms. Arkenna released this statement on social media. Quote, "I've been certified the winner, but I forgot to smash that like button, so things aren't going that well." Now, I am, of course, just kidding about that, but it does appear to be true that 100% of the people who did not smash that like button as well as that subscribe button, well, they had their elections overturned over in Cobb County. Just something to think about. That aside, though, here's what her statement actually said. Quote, "Wednesday, November 16th, around 4 p.m., a day after the election results were certified, I received a phone call from Cobb Elections. I was told, quote, a memory card from the Kennesaw 3A precinct was not uploaded properly and failed to report on election night through certification. Today, as we prepare reports for the statewide risk limiting audit, we discovered that only ballot images were present in the system and not ballot results." And so, with this new memory card in hand, the election officials came in and they re-tallied the ballots. And with these additional votes added in, well, wouldn't you know it, the results were actually flipped, and Miss Madeline Arkenna, she was stripped of her victory by a new margin of just 31 votes. The new winner of the election was actually her opponent. Here was the second part of her statement. Again, this was released by Miss Madeline Arkenna shortly after she found out. Quote, "Once the correction was made and the 789 ballots from that card were included, your race outcome changed and Ms. Burnett came out ahead. The election official also stated that, quote, they plan to recertify the results on Friday. I have formally requested a recount. I will be filing a formal complaint to the Secretary of State and I'm reaching out to legal counsel." Now, the recount that you requested did indeed take place, and it indeed changed the results of the election such that her opponent was certified as the new winner, which only makes things more interesting given the fact that Miss Madeline Arkenna says that her opponent, the one who was certified as the winner, is virtually unknown in the community. Here was the last part of her statement. Quote, "As for Ms. Burnett, who is the new winner of the election, I, nor any other candidates whom I've spoken to, know anything about her. She didn't attend city council meetings. She listed no contact information in her qualifying papers. To my knowledge, she did not respond to any local media for any candidate questionnaires. She did not participate in the Q&A or the local meet and greet with the rest of the candidates. I'm unaware of any campaign website or platform." And indeed, just like it's mentioned in this statement, according to a report from the Cobb County Courier, the local media in the county, out of the 5 different candidates running for this post, Ms. Burnett appears to have been the least active. Here's what that report said, quote, "While Arkenna and the 5 other candidates visibly campaigned and participated in city and candidate events, Burnett has not spoken publicly about her run and only released a statement through a spokesperson calling it an, quote, unconventional election and that she, quote, looks forward to keeping Kennesaw the best community." Regardless of all that, though, with the new memory card in hand, Miss Lynn Burnett was indeed certified as the winner. And at this point, I'm sure there are many questions that you're wondering, such as, for instance, what political parties did these 2 women represent? And that is not exactly clear. In these local races, very often candidates don't actually declare allegiance to any particular party, and instead they just run on the issues. And so if you take a look at the ballot for Kennesaw City Council, the special election, you'll see that all the candidates have NP next to their names, meaning no party. And so your guess is as good as anyone's. Now, in terms of how this could have happened, well, that is the big $100 million question. How could election results come in, be certified, while you still have memory cards out there from tabulation machines just floating around, remaining uncounted? Well, initially, the election officials in Cobb County refused to give any further details, such as why the card was overlooked and even where it was located when it was eventually found. They only confirmed that it was a fact that the missing card was found and the tallies were updated. In fact, to this very day, the only thing that's even close to an official explanation is found over on cobbcounty.org, wherein it says this under the post from November 18th, quote, "The recertification was necessary after workers discovered a memory card had not been included in the previous results. The additional ballots resulted in a change in the Kennesaw City Council Post 1 special election." And that's it. Why was the card not included? What processes do they have in place to stop this from happening? And were those processes actually followed? It's also unclear. However, a local newspaper in the Cobb County area, they interviewed an official, Ms. Janine Eveler, the director of elections, and she told them that the memory card never went missing and it was actually returned on the night of November 8th, on election night. And according to her, the only problem was that an employee just did not follow the rules. Here was specifically what she said, again, to local media, quote, "We have a checklist in the receiving group that opens the pouch, checks the seal, opens the pouch, and counts that the memory cards have been returned. So in this case, they have a checklist that says there is either one scanner or two scanners at that polling location. The receiver in this case checked the checklist. There were two memory cards. They marked 2 on their checklist and handed it to the person that was uploading it to the tabulation machine. She didn't check her checklist that said there were 2 and reached into the bag, pulled one memory card out and uploaded it, put that card back into the pouch and handed it off to another worker." And so, there you have it. A seemingly simple human error caused an entire election to be called one way, only to be flipped a few days later. Now, of course, we're not allowed to ask any further questions, at least on this platform, but frankly, the ease in which this mistake supposedly happened does make me wonder how often such a mistake occurs, especially given the fact that we have quite literally over 2,000 counties across all of America. How often does this type of thing occur and just never get caught? Although perhaps it is very rare and hardly ever happens. Who knows? In fact, I would love to know your thoughts on this particular matter. Do you agree with the official narrative that this was just a human error? And do you think that the fact that it was discovered at all is actually a good thing and shows that the proper safeguards are in place within our election system that catch such mistakes? And do you think that this is an isolated incident or just the one that we know about and there are many such occurrences that we just don't know about? I'd love to know your thoughts. Please leave them in the comment section below. I'll be reading them over the weekend. Also, if you'd like to read any of the resources from today's episode, I'll throw them all down into the description box below so you can check them out for yourself. And all I ask in return is that if you haven't already, take a quick moment to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button as well. That way we can get this type of honest news content delivered directly into your YouTube feed every time we publish it. All right, the sponsor of today's episode is a phenomenal company called AMAC. That's AMAC, and it stands for the Association of Mature American Citizens. They are quite literally one of the fastest growing conservative organizations in all of America, and you should consider joining for 3 main reasons. The first is the money saving benefit, because as a member of AMAC, you get access to a ton of discounts at many different verticals. Things like vitamin stores, restaurants, retail shops, and so on and so forth. If you want to check out the full list, it's pretty exhaustive, you can do so over on AMAC's website. The second benefit is that you get exclusive access to the AMAC magazine. It'll be delivered directly to your doorstep, and it contains phenomenal coverage as well as deep analysis. And then the third benefit, the one that people say is their favorite, is that AMAC fights for your values over on Capitol Hill. In fact, you can check out the online version of this on their website. It's the AMAC Action Advocacy Annual Report, and it shows exactly what they're doing on Capitol Hill in terms of fighting what they call the socialist storm that's brewing in this country. So head on over to amac.us/factsmatter and sign up today. I'll also throw a link down in the description box below. Now lastly, since we're generally on the topic of elections, I'd like to mention that over on Epic TV, our awesome no censorship video platform, we just published a phenomenal documentary called Brazil, A Last Stand in the Americas, where we detail what's happening in Brazil in regards to their most recent election, and what it would mean if Brazil, the most prosperous nation in South America, were to once again have a socialist president. Take a look at the trailer.
A América Latina pode, nesse momento, ser o grande farol para a nova esquerda que nós precisamos criar no mundo.
Não queremos o Brasil dominado por outra potência. E temos outras poucas potências de olho no Brasil.
Dilma Rousseff está em Cuba e hoje participou da inauguração de um porto financiado pelo Brasil. Durante a cerimônia, a presidente classificou como injusto o bloqueio comercial imposto ao país caribenho pelos Estados Unidos.
Eu vou definir a importância da China para o Brasil. Não existe futuro de relações do Brasil sem a participação da China, em todas as áreas.
If you'd like to check out that awesome documentary in its glorious entirety, as well as all the other great content over on Epic TV, I'll throw the link. It'll be right there at the very top of the description box. I hope you check it out. And then until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epic Times. Stay informed, and most importantly, stay free.